Live on Diamond TV, and I've put you on speakerphone. I'm being bothered here that you are very sick, and you are... Why would you even bother to do that? You're listening from these... so you are live on TV, sir. Those who have nothing to do people, It's what I'm explaining to my boys here, that there's nothing like that. So they are saying, no, we are worried, he's not been seen and whatever. So I said, okay, let me check on the boss. They must farm, they must produce food for the nation. We are producing food for the nation.
Good evening, Mr. President. Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening, how are you guys?
Yeah, well, good to hear that you are very well, and hopefully the farm is well as well.
Well, we're trying to sort out things, sometimes things need someone to straighten them, and we're doing that. But so far so good. But we continue to work. We're doing quite a lot of work.
Your Excellency, it's good that you say that you're at the farm, because I don't know whether this information is before your table. We've had so many people calling to suggest that people haven't been paid, the farmers haven't been paid, and part of the issues are complaining about the logistical issues around them getting the money. What assurance are you giving the farmers tonight around them being paid?
No, the first things first, I think we've made our farmers aware what caused this situation. That we were initially to buy 500,000 metric tons of maize, and that's what we had budgeted for. But because the farmers responded very well to our call for more production following the drought and hunger, and we decided that we should not leave those farmers who responded positively by producing more, leave them vulnerable to one, briefcase buyers, two, those that may buy at a lower price to them or pay to them so they can get real value. So we decided to increase the purchase to 1.6 million tons. So that is the differential in terms of funding gap. But we've since, raised the money, and the money is with the banks. The payments are going on. They're a bit slow, and we're pushing the banks to expedite the payment really. With electronic edge, they can do better. The banks can do better, because they can actually transfer money to various farmers, those who have, say, mobile money or bank account. But I think it's an issue of a number of farmers not having those facilities. But nevertheless, we do apologize for the delay, but I think it's all moving now. And we want to assure farmers that they'll get their money. That's the money they work for. They deliver the maize, and they have to be paid, and they're being paid. But having said that, the FISIP inputs were delivered on time, and the number of farmers were able to draw their fertilizer and seed and other requisites, so they should be able to produce a bit more. Where I am, the crop is looking good. So we're hoping that they will continue producing and feeding the country. As you've always heard me say, that let's not be a country of consumers only, let's be a country of producers as well. And food security is national security. Very important, and we're working on improving the marketing arrangements so that we can have more permanency, more, if you like, certainty. And what are these measures including? These measures include ensuring that we have structured export markets. Which markets? Congo, Malawi, Congo, DR, Malawi, and others, so that we don't stop the exports. Remember, in the drought year, a lot of Zambians were alleging that we were exporting maize, and I did argue to the people of Zambia that our consumption of maize, both human and animal, is only, to be honest, 2.7 million tons of maize, and our production target is 10 million tons. What does that mean to you and any other Zambian? It means that we must always have export markets, and that's what we're working on, to ensure that we've structured export markets which will absorb the extra maize that we produce. Our preference is that we sell, if you like, value-added products, daily meal, stock feed. That's what we're working on. And I think it's important for farmers to realize that
Were you disappointed with ministers that didn't show up in charge?
And I'll tell you that I'm very disappointed with ourselves as party leaders, including those appointed, because we are betraying Hakainde Hichilema at the end of the day. Why are we in government is to protect power. So the vision of the party and the president is being what he implemented. So when you lose power, are you going to implement your vision and the policy? The answer is no.
And you think that these the ministers
and I repeat, and I'm putting myself
helping
also,
protect the power?
They are not protecting the power. They are not protecting the power. Those in the system, some of them, they are not doing so. Because certain things which I told them from the beginning happened in Chawama. There are certain things which they do which cannot even consult the party. And you tell them this is a danger. It will cost this. They don't want to listen. They feel they know it. But I'm happy that after losing this election, everyone now was forwarding things to me. Why are you forwarding those things to me? When you are not even there on the ground, you are not there. So for me, and I've said it's the beginning of putting things in. It's not too late. Putting things in order for the party UPND, for the president. We should not betray President Hakainde Hichilema. He's a good leader, very good leader, who would want to see this country change, who would want to see its people at the community level benefit from the taxpayers' money. That's the president we have, but he needs help from us. And that election alone has taught me a lot of things which we need to address squarely. How the system works, how everybody works. Everyone who has an influential position under UPND government has to play a role. And that stance as the National Youth Chairman, I'm taking it personally. Some they will hate me, some they will even tell the president, fire this person. I would rather be fired from this position by doing a right thing, which will protect the power and protect the president's vision and the policy of the party to be implemented.
Good day, and this is January 20th, the day that the Lord has made. We are having a People's Forum, a forum you can call in. I thought that we should have this open forum because the last few days I've been hosting guests. Remember, I hosted Abakalamba Bachisanga Puta Chekwe. Many of you were watching the finals between Senegal and Morocco. Go to that podcast. Oh, it's so rich, so detailed, and the counsel that Bachisanga Puta Chekwe, a man that was a deputy minister in Canada, a man, he was country director for First Quantum and is a senior leader in our country. He's a Zambian national based in Canada. Then yesterday we held a podcast with Frank Guava. So your voice has been missing. I thought we can use Tuesday today that we discuss the issues. Thank you very much for those calling me. I hope that my volume is okay. Tell us where you are, where you are calling us from. Share the broadcast, and tell me if it is okay, because my phone is ringing. Is the volume okay? Usually it's the volume or the picture, but whichever it is, share the broadcast, make comments. Are we okay? Can you hear me clearly and quickly? We are hosting a People's Forum. I am persuaded that we need to discuss this. First of all, the number one issue burning on social media, mainstream media, ZNBC Times, Daily Mail, and other media usually keep away from the fierce debate and fierce storm that occurs on social media. And sometimes I understand why the president has to respond to social media, because it's like an underground debate. So the president was last seen in Lusaka on 29th December 2025. He was officiating at the 34th commemoration of Zambia shall be saved. At that commemoration, he declared Zambia that day, 29th December, the day when President Frederick Chiluba in 1991 declared it as that Zambia shall be a Christian nation, one of the few Christian nations in the world. I know of Ethiopia, I know of the United States, but a declared, by constitution, by statute, which it was codified in 1996, is only Zambia that I know. And many people think Israel is a Christian nation. No, Israel is not even a Christian country. Remember, they practice what we call Judaism. They are still waiting for the Messiah. They don't recognize that Jesus Christ came and is the Savior of the world. And the books, especially the end-time books, John and Revelation, discuss that scenario, that his own will not recognize him, and they will see him in the second coming. So the Jews do not believe that Jesus Christ is who we all believe, that's the Son of God and is a Messiah. They are still waiting for a Messiah. So that day made Zambia historical. Spiritually, I think Zambia then began to attract all these people that are interested in the state of the world, end of the world. They think Zambia has a special place. And remember that there was a missionary, David Livingstone, 200 years ago, before there was a formation of Zambia, who died in Chitambo, in Serenje. Chitambo is now a new district. And there's a plaque and commemoration and the hut in which David Kaunda died. On his knees, on his bended knees, when he was grappled by exhaustion and malaria, and I think he had dysentery, he wrote in his book, "This land where my bended knees are, will be a great nation, a Christian nation, a nation that shall be hope for Africa, a beacon of light to the world." Now, those are immense, powerful words that were declared on our country, on the land where Chitambo is. In fact, Chitambo must have a special place, special recognition for the declaration of literally Zambia as a Christian nation 200 years ago, before even Chiluba appeared. And many people forget that in 1964, Dr. Kaunda and his men went to the cathedral, deposited the flag of the new nation that would be born on 23rd. That was going to be born the following day, and declared that this country would be dedicated to God. And he said his leadership will submit to the lordship of our Lord Jesus Christ. So in fact, the declaration of Zambia as a Christian nation can be traced back to David Livingstone, to Dr. Kaunda in 1964 and 1965. There's a famous speech he gave at the cathedral in 1965 at the eve of that 1 year celebration of independence. Again, he affirmed that our country shall be a country, led by God himself, that they shall submit themselves to the leadership of Christ, our Lord. So by the time you are seeing in 1991, Dr. Chiluba declaring Zambia as a Christian nation, there is that spiritual awakening that our country, like David Livingstone stated, that it shall be a special place in Africa and a light to the world. Have we lived up to those standards that our forefathers and even missionaries foresaw in our country? And our country was quickly evangelized by all sorts of Christians, whether it was the white missionaries, who came through Northern Province, or the first church in Zambia that was established at is it Namkolo? You can remind me in the comments, in Mpulungu. That is the first church in Zambia set up by missionaries that came across Lake Tanganyika. Then we see the evangelization, especially for those that came through Livingstone, Sesheke, and fraternized with the Litunga. We saw the White Fathers, and we saw also the Scottish mission. Remember where Dr. Kaunda's family came from, Malawi. They were sent as part of the missionaries that settled at Lubwa Mission in Chinsali. So Zambia has been a Christian nation. That's the last time we saw the president in Lusaka. It was on that day, and we congratulate him because he declared Zambia a Christian nation. So thanks to the president that he declared that day, a national day, that is going to be an annual holiday. And on New Year's Eve, there were fueling rumors that the president had fallen ill and something had happened, and that he was actually not in Lusaka, he was at his farm in Choma. The issues of the president's sickness, for me, is a matter I keep away. We've had this discussion, I've always encouraged that the falling or ill of a president is not something to joke about. The country has lost two former heads of states before. Two former heads of state, sitting heads of state. And we saw how senior officials from State House and senior government officials bungled in the manner of President Levi Mwanawasa. Instead of giving him room to seek specialized medical treatment, they kept on pretending he was okay. They kept on saying he was jogging in London. They prematurely brought him. They put him on a mission to Egypt when he was not well. And, he suffered a terrible heart attack, a stroke or heart attack, we don't know, a combination of that in Egypt, in Egypt, yes. He was in Egypt and he was flown immediately to France. And, for 2-3 months, he remained in ICU until he was declared dead. We saw the bungling of the health of the late President Michael Sata. Clearly, there was something wrong. Clearly, the president needed medical treatment. They were hiding, criminalizing. In fact, at that stage, because the Zambian watchdog, Zambia Report, kept on talking about the health of the president to the extent that the two newspapers were banned. There was a huge investment done that Zambia Watchdog and Zambia Report should not be seen in Zambia. So the two online newspapers remained banned. I remember when I came as PS in Northern PS at Ministry of Information, I said it's totally unnecessary. This is a wrong approach. What you need is information with information. You fight information with information. And I ordered ZNBC, Times, Daily Mail, that can you have online newspapers? Can you have, besides, ZNBC is the most credible outlet. Why is your presence literally non-existent on social media? I said, you hire a social media editor. You hire an online editor and boost up your presence on social media. Today, I'm glad that the ZNBC Facebook page has grown. I think it's clocking 1 million, and it's one of the most reliable news outlets in our country, ZNBC. Because I didn't believe that you should ban Zambian Watchdog, no matter how injurious the reports were, and Zambia Reports. There was no need to use VPN to access Zambian Watchdog. All I said, ZNBC, Times, Daily, up your game. In fact, Zanis, we even started a regular, what we call Zanis News. And I said, you Zanis, you are across all the 10 provinces, all the 116 districts. Give us news from those areas. And I ordered ZNBC to allocate dedicated time to Zanis that should at least 2-3 times a week showcase first the news, both community and developmental from these areas. That way, the country goes beyond Lusaka. The country is not deemed as Zambia, Lusaka, and Lusaka, Zambia. And also the preoccupation of speculation and, the dirty narrative that politicians drive. Who has the largest nose? Who has the largest forehead? Who has the largest tummy? Who has the largest mouth? Disappears when you bring in and forestall quality narrative. And that was my focus at Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. For the political and other reasons, I didn't last there. I was just 2 years, 2 months, but the momentous changes I directed. I'm glad that they are in full bloom now. I had said there should be Zanis TV, because Zanis has an infrastructure. If there is any infrastructure that can be one of the best government communicators, it is Zanis, because it's present in all districts. Make an investment, give them studios across the country, and give them material. And then they have historical material, because I remember when I was in South Africa's High Commissioner, there were a lot of trips I had arranged with SABC to come to ZNBC and Zanis, because they were interested in the history and the 30 years that the ANC was in Zambia and the liberation movements, other liberation movements. SWAPO, Frelimo, MPR from Angola, SWAPO from Namibia, ZANU and ZAP from Zimbabwe. We have all those documents and just probably wasting away in some shed. South Africa took a lot of interest, signed an MOU with ZNBC to digitize material that they were interested in. Where is our own digitization of that material? So in my view as PS in 2013 at Ministry of Information, I directed that we should do all that. And ZNBC had an FM program that had stored. We looked for money for them, and they began to install FM services, whether it was in Chinsali or Mlobezi or Sesheke. You fight information with information. The reason speculation rise is because there is no official information. The reason speculation rise is because you are slow to come and put a stamp of authority on information. When you choose to lie, you are immediately exposed by the truth just the following day. And then you are firefighting, because every day you no longer become credible, you no longer become believable, because you are mixing truth and lies together. So that was my approach. So when there was this information, I kept away from it. And many people kept away. They kept on calling, have you heard? No, the president has collapsed. No, the president has been flown. The president has... The only time I touched the story, I think, was on 3rd January, when Sishua decided to break the news by asking government, can you tell us, is the president unwell? Has he been evacuated to South Africa? And because Sishua brought the matter now to mainstream, it came on Twitter. Twitter is a credible outlet where donors, cooperating partners, businesses take matters very seriously. The quality of information on Twitter is a bit higher than what it is on Facebook. It is only that time that I brought the question of the health of the president on my Facebook page. And I didn't comment. I just shared what Sishua had asked. Of course, government went to town attempting to discredit his information. All Sishua was asking is that for 3 days, there is this information, and there is no information from government. Government proceeded by releasing still pictures of the president. Some pictures didn't have shadows. Yarama picture of Mishaya pa Daniel Munkombwe, target where the president has a shadow, but the people around him have no shadows, and vice versa. The pictures were not credible. Then they produce a picture, a video, a short video of the president in the field. For you and me who deal with social media, sometimes people say, Ambassador, you are on social media all the time. No. Many times I'm sleeping. You can schedule posts. A prayer should broadcast Zambian time at 03. The comments here, the newspapers I will have gathered, they should be posted at 05. I don't have to be awake. I can do a recording and present it to you as a live broadcast. So a live broadcast from the president's Choma's ranch doesn't mean that the president is okay. Because it can be a video that you choose to play live. Facebook has all those qualities, including my software. I can do a detailed recording, even up to 1 hour. Then I can place that it should come live. You will think I'm live when actually I'm at the stores. Go to the stores and come back. When the recording is coming to an end, then I join you. There are times when you see, but he changed clothes, because sometimes you forget, So the president being live by UPND and press singers don't seem to get it. No, you people are just being malicious. You saw the president was live. Yes, he can be live, but not alive. We know what social media does. You can play a recording. Anyway, we saw proof of life on 5th May. The president addressed a rally at Choma Sports Complex. That rally, he just fouled it up, because he made tribal remarks that the people of Southern Province were always attacked when they come to Lusaka at Intercity. And he warned them that if you vote these people, you'll be beaten, you'll get back to those issues. Terrible, terrible statement. Then he proceeded to praise himself over Mingalato. He just made the rally worse. He didn't achieve his intended purpose. But if the purpose was to show that the president was live, active, and fit, well, he did to some extent, because our people could see that the president was okay. Why do we make it a taboo to discuss the health of the president? And like I'm saying, we should learn from what we did with Mr. Sata and with Mr. Levi Mwanawasa, who were not fair to them. In my view, if there was an admission that the president was not well, the president would have received quality medical treatment, probably abroad, in a settled manner, and the nation would have reason to pray for the two presidents. But when you keep on lying, he's okay. You even bring him to parliament. You even take him to the United States. Everyone was saying, is there no one around the president to tell these people to stop what they are doing to the president? So again, I throw the question. If the president is unwell, allow him to rest, allow him to seek medical treatment. There's no need to force him on, come to this live. Nomba bantu wale ipusha, ukukubo kukula mwenye kwa tina kufimba. Ngaka kamu tiwa president wale senda. You are just spawning new issues. Well, if the president is resting and is on a working holiday, show him when he's with his officials and is working. And if the president is on leave, leave him. Tell us he's on leave so that the speculations end. Because he's a human being, he's entitled to rest at least once in a year. He should take at least minimum 30 days. That's what labor laws demand. That is what is healthy to any human being. He's entitled to rest. He's not a superhuman. A president requires rest, also requires good health. If the two are not okay, it's a duty of the people around him to ensure that he does that. So there's no need to prove that he's okay. Mwabaleta kutogeti, no mwabatwala kurali, no mwabatwala mufiudi. While the nation is burning with key issues. We have diesel shortages across the country, and no one is talking about it except motorists, bus and minibus drivers who keep on searching and hunting for diesel. Why is there a diesel shortage? Where is the statement? You've been talking about paying farmers from from September, when the Zambia National Farmers Union raised an alarm, Mr. President, there is a farming season coming by end of October. Pay our farmers. Also pay the transporters, pay the fumigators. From September, ministry officials have just been saying, no, we are paying our farmers. No, we've released 5 billion. No, we've released so much. The story is on. And what has been distressing the last few days since Christmas Eve is that our farmers have been sleeping at FRIA sheds or at banks. And you have all seen those distressing images. Then the team around the president think that they should be showing us a president frolicking and playing with his cattle. You have a diesel shortage. You have farmers unpaid. You have now floods. We've seen the president in Mozambique who has ended his leave and is in the field. You've seen Daniel Chapo with boots and is in the field, is visiting flooded areas. They've brought in helicopters from South Africa to airlift stranded people. The president's own place where he is, both in Monze and Choma, there are floods. We've seen over DMMU issued a statement that 1,000 individuals are displaced. Who is visiting the 1,000? Who is? Why should you show us a president playing with his cattle instead of showing the president with the people distressed? If the president is on leave, where is his vice president to make these visits to the filling stations where there is diesel shortage, to go and visit our people whose land is flooded, whose crops have been destroyed, whose homes have been destroyed, and now DMMU is struggling to take tents to them? Where are the pictures about the real suffering of our people? Now, every day, I'm a keen follower of Zanis News. There is a bridge or crossing point that has been washed away by these heavy floods, unprecedented heavy floods. But in the case of our people, it's business as usual, grappling with just the noise on social media instead of dealing with the issues affecting our people. No wonder they lost Chawama, because they're so disconnected from the realities of our people. Before I invite you to join the broadcast and call, you are aware that my dear brother Miles Sampa has been arrested today. He was summoned to the police. And in the broadcast that the president made on Diamond TV, choreographed, staged, clearly staged, they wanted to pretend that the president is awake at 21:15. That program comes at 21:15 on Diamond TV. So if you have a president who's on leave and is resting, what is he doing at 22 hours? So anyway, Tabo Kawana sits and pretends to be calling the president. Of course, on the first ring, the president answers, choreographed, staged, and the president begins to ramble. They had to stop him. You saw they had to stop him. You know, when he begins to talk, he wants to talk and talk and talk. And they wanted to use it for one reason, that the president is well. Ngamarishwe chwemba ichilanda ti ishiwi ningoma. Ishiwi ningoma. And for me, I saw it myself. I went to visit the president. He fired me in November 2013, President Michael Sata. Then he called me in January that he had given me a job as ambassador to Egypt, and he invited me to go and see him. So I went to see the president, and you know how Mr. Sata was. Anyway, he called George Zulu. George Zulu was the permanent secretary at Ministry of Foreign Affairs. George, where are you? So George says, it was February actually. I'm in Eastern Province. This weekend we have Nkwala ceremony, Nchwala ceremony. He says, oh, okay, I'm with Emmanuel Mwamba here. You said we have 2 vacancies in Egypt and South Korea. I'm writing a letter to you that is, I've appointed him as ambassador to either South Korea or Egypt. And you know, Mr. Sata was, he called Betha was his famous secretary, and he dictated the letter, and the letter was done before I left. There were a lot of things happening, you know. Abanandi, they were fighting me. They wanted to get my car that I had saved as PS. They were scandalizing me on social media every day. So Mr. Sata called me, and I went to complain. I said, Mr. President, even your own vice president keeps on scandalizing me. How do I respond to the vice president? So, he called immediately. I got my payment, because my payment, they had refused to pay me as PS. They gave me a hefty check. They had wanted to grab my vehicle as, the Toyota Pride, or that the conditions of service provided that when, the person or to hold a vehicle became your vehicle upon retirement or separation from your position. So they had tried to do all that. Mr. Sata resolved all those things that same day. 3 months later, I never received the letter. My dear brother, because I was at the same time, China, Joe Zaza, who was in China, was taken to the US. The process was being handled at the same time with mine. 3 months later, I didn't have a letter. I didn't go to the diplomatic school. And I wondered who had delayed the appointment done by the president by letter in writing. Of course, there were shenanigans, a day for another matter. So I decided to call him, and I remember that it was a day after May Day, because he appeared on Labor Day. There was some kerfuffle there, but I called him in the evening, and he invited me to see him the following day. So the following day, I went to see the president to follow up on the letter where he had appointed me as ambassador to Egypt or South Korea. When I arrived, the president was clearly unwell. This is a man I'd last seen in February. He was unwell, totally unwell, a total shadow of himself. But his voice was very strong. Like Bemba say, Ishui Ningoma. So you still can have a very strong voice even when you are not well. So, but anyway, President Hakainde Hichilema spoke to Diamond TV and gave his narrative, and even commenting about Mao Sampa. That's why people were joking at me. President Junior Baldi. Because why would the president say Mao Sampa committed an offense? And today we saw the speedy reaction by the police. Summoned Mao Sampa. They've charged and arrested him, and they've said he had communicated, through cyberspace deceptive information. What did Mao Sampa do? He received information that there was a funny polling station. A tent had been pitched near Relay police station. And the voters were being brought by a bus. And Mao's blew the whistle. He asked the guys that were nearby, take a picture of that tent, take a picture of the buses, and he blew it on social media that ECZ had set up an illegal polling station. Of course, ECZ said it was a legitimate station, but the questions remained unanswered. Why are residents not aware about this? Is this a gazetted polling station? When did you gazette it? Can you just set up any polling station? ECZ acted swiftly. I think the chairperson visited the area and they called Mao Sampa, that he should retract his statement and that he should apologize. He didn't. But the results from that polling station indicate that Mao Sampa may have been on to something. Because that's one of the few polling stations that the UPND candidate won. He won with a wide margin, 74 against Bright Nundwe 7, and the rest of the candidates polled 0. Maybe Mao Sampa was onto something. Was that polling station gazetted? Of course, on Sunday, a day before he could go to church, he decided to apologize. In my view, he should have first established whether the polling station was gazetted. He should have gathered information whether that polling station was there in 2021. He should have demanded for more thorough answers than the pedestrian answers that ECZ gave. Is a polling station gazetted? Because all polling stations in Zambia are gazetted. Is it listed as one of those official polling stations? Why was this coordination between ECZ and the UPND, where only bust voters were coming from Chilanga to that polling station? But Miles decided to be an honorable man and apologized. Of course, they've taken advantage of that and they've arrested him today, and the president spoke about it yesterday. The other matter regards the harassment of another presidential candidate, Makebi Zulu, who is in Eastern Province. You saw that video I've just played where he was UPND and the police were moving together when Makebi Zulu was paying a Katesco in Lundazi, I think at Chief Mpamba, I think that is Chief Mpamba. I'll check the records. When he arrived yesterday at his house, there were people to welcome him. The police came in full force to attempt to disperse the crowd. They even arrested 2 people. The police have continued to harass Makebi Zulu, who's in Eastern Province, of course, to visit the province, and he was minister there, and he's a presidential candidate. He wants to visit our party structures, but he keeps on being met with harassment. Mwebantu wakwalesa, this is People's Forum, and I don't want to keep you for long. I want to speak about this matter before I invite you to call.
The directives from the Commander-in-Chief are very straightforward: to exterminate illegal miners. And we shall do that step by step. We don't intend to use force, but obviously when necessary, that is our business, to use force. And I do know there will be consequences in that direction, such as injuries, loss of life, but there's no option available. We are also reminded with the impunity to disobedience of law and order by the illegal miners themselves. We will not allow that impunity to continue, and it can never continue. The underlying assumptions with illegal mining is that it attracts illegal immigrants, and we're also interested in illegal immigrants. Of course, there is fog and friction in Mufumbe, where we have been for a while, and starting this week, probably shall be using force to exterminate, fumigate all illegal miners. Of course, there's a lot of coordination and interacting between ourselves and the Ministry of Mines. Today I'm expecting a call from the Minister of Mines, or I will call him, in order for us to coordinate. I seem to be preempting this because our next destination is a Pika, and I'll be on the piers for us to connect on what we do with the Pika. Obviously, the template of Mufumbe may be different from Pika, but there will be similarities in the lines of operations, or indeed concept of operations. I know that this nuisance has been with Central Province for a long time, but I'm sure it is time for us. We brought it to a dead end because all of us are like the fact of the consequences of illegal mining, and that is to say illegal extraction of natural resources, which all of us are entitled to, protection of the environment, returning the strata of the soil.
The head of state, the president, has been missing since last year. He was last seen in public in Lusaka on 29th December 2025 at the 34th commemoration of Zambia as a Christian nation. We last saw him in public again on 5th January. that Wednesday when he addressed a public rally from people drawn from all districts, all the 15 districts of Southern Province. We remember that very clearly because he spoke carelessly and dangerously. He spoke in a tribal manner, and he boasted about playing and ensuring that he dribbled everyone to have Bill 7 passed into constitutional amendments. The swelling rumors around his health have continued despite the constant assurance from his media team. At least yesterday they said he's on leave. But if he's on leave, why didn't you tell the country from the beginning that after his activities on 29th, the president will go on official leave? And I think there would have been none of these speculations. And if there are concerns around the speculation of health, I think we've given sound advice. We are worried the country is grappled by various legacy issues of poverty, unemployment, the youth unemployment, lack of opportunities for young people, the lack of employment, especially for young people, is a big crisis. Then we have these new issues. Those are legacy issues. We have this cost of living crisis, and now you have diesel shortage. No comment from government, no nothing. Every time government gives you assurances about anything, just know there's something terrible. We haven't seen anyone visit, for example, the 1,000 people that are displaced in Southern Province because of the floods that have displaced our people, destroyed crops, damaged and washed away our bridges and crossing points. We've seen the Mozambican president who's visiting, is invited his army and the South African army to even help evacuate our people. We've seen crossing points washed away. We've seen, at least for Lundazi, I saw the vice president, credit to her, visit Lundazi after that heavy, flooding that occurred in Lundazi. There are various reports, Central Province, Muchinga, even Northern Province, of these floods and floodings that have occurred. There's no concerted attention to them. Price of fuel remains very high, despite the kwacha so-called, strengthening up to 20 kwacha, despite the country having reserves of up to $5 billion. No discernible help to our people. The arrest and harassment of opposition leaders has continued. Miles Sampa today, they have not even bothered to give him police bond. He's locked up at Lusaka Central Police Station, and they keep on harassing Makebi Zulu, who is in Eastern Province. While we are seeing pictures of the president playing with his nieces and nephews and cattle, and no one is attending to the national crisis. I said, let me talk about the army commander. The army commander issued a very strong statement that he has instructions from the commander-in-chief. The commander-in-chief in Zambia is the president, the head of state. So he has instructions from President Hakainde Hichilema to exterminate illegal miners, to fumigate illegal miners. That's the language he used. First of all, that's a dastard abuse of human rights. These are civilians, ordinary people seeking a lifeline. There are measures and ways of dealing with them. You can't exterminate them. You know what extermination means? Total destruction and total killing. Do you know what fumigation means? So they are going to gas our people. Have you ever fumigated your house? Sometimes you have to leave your house for 2-3 days because you fumigated them, because there are cockroaches in your house. Is the army commander dealing with cockroaches or with our people? Who does he wish to fumigate? Who does he wish to exterminate? Is he dealing with rats or human beings? I know our people are very sensitive with issues regarding the army. Military and security issues, our people say, keep away, don't even debate it. No one is totally uncalled for. In other countries, if it was here in the United States, he would have been summoned to Congress or to Senate to explain himself the threats he has issued against harmless individuals. The threats of extermination would even have cost him a job. He's not allowed to use the army for those purposes, to kill our people, to exterminate our people, to fumigate our people. He's not allowed. His role is to defend the sovereignty of our country. His role is to ensure that the military power we have, military hardware we have, our military assets we have are used to maintain our peace and security of the country. Issues of law and order are issues of the police. Illegal mining, in fact, is being perpetrated by government and government officials. They look away. They closed in Mufumbwe. The following day, we received reports that 4 people had died, UPND cadres, 2 from Southern Province, 2 from Kabwe. How did you allow a place you had closed to allow it to mine? Because you are receiving pressure from party cadres. You are receiving pressure from party cadres because you have not given them an opportunity or jobs, or because you've neglected them. You therefore allow them to conduct this illegal mining. I agree with the remarks by the Minister of Transport and Communication and Ndola MP. On that rally with the president, he put it very clearly, Mr. President, there is no outsider allowing illegal mining, whether in Mufulira or Chingola. It is us here, we the ministers are the ones facilitating. We are the ones that even go to get change from these kids. We are the ones sometimes that buy their stones. Frank Tayali was correct. Illegal mining is not being perpetrated by anyone else but by government officials. And what annoys our people is, in one breath, you want to use the army to exterminate and fumigate illegal miners. On the other, you are giving the so-called investors tax-free mining. You are giving these licenses to them. They are exploration licenses for gold, but you are allowing them to mine. Our people can see through that. You've given up to 7 big mine houses export duty free. No duty should be given for export of concentrates, which are supposed to be processed in our country, because our processing and refinery capacity in Zambia has grown. That's why we can even process material from the DRC. But you allow concentrates to go export free, leaving your own, your own processors in Zambia. Why are you doing that? Because you know you don't want to extricate the gold, the cobalt, which is now selling at $56,000. It's a corrupt relationship between Ministry of Finance and the mines. We have capacity in Zambia to process those mines. I think one of the biggest refineries at First Quantum in Solwezi is one of the biggest in the world. So why are you taking concentrates? Why? Tell us. Why are you exporting them free? Why don't you want them processed in our country? It's very simple. It's very simple. It's a corrupt relationship, because if these are processed in China, they deprive our country of cobalt, which is selling at $56,000. And the copper itself, the value is very low because it's concentrates. And then you want to exterminate the youths that are scattered across the country seeking God. Someone gave me statistics that if you look at the numbers that are in Mpika, Kasempa, and Mufumbwe, oh, you'll be shocked. And you'll be surprised by the number of Senegalese, Tanzanians, and Ugandans and Sudanese that are camped in these areas who are harvesting this and paying the kids these monies. You'll be surprised by a community of women that have invaded this place to sell groceries to the illegal miners. Illegal mining is wrong, but check yourself. Before you move the log, check. Before you remove the speck in illegal mining, check yourself with the log that is with you. Why are you giving tax holidays to the mines that the country is not benefiting from? Copper, which is selling at $13,000, $14,000 a ton. Cobalt is selling at $56,000 a ton. Why aren't you allowing these concentrates to be processed in our country where we have capacity? Why are you hard on our illegal miners, but extremely soft on the people that are benefiting a lot from our resources? And now you have a president who has unleashed the entire military might of our country to go and exterminate and fumigate illegal miners. This army commander ought to apologize, ought to be fired, or we ought to hold him to account. Do not be afraid to speak truth to power. That's one of the reasons our country sinks, because we are afraid to speak, even if it is wrong. A wrong remains a wrong. You cannot have an army commander speaking so. Mwamba is a relative to the president. He is not qualified to hold that position of army commander. He was brought from retirement. He has a disgraceful record. You just Google him. He's the one that surrendered in Liberia, our soldiers, when rebels attacked them, and he surrendered. Disgraceful record. He's not even fit to lead us. We keep quiet about these things, not because we don't know them. And then he comes to threaten our people and say that he wants to exterminate and fumigate our people. That army commander must apologize for those dangerous remarks against our people. No one wants illegal mining to take place. We know the effects of illegal mining if you allow it to take root. We've seen what is happening in Eastern Congo. We've seen what happened in Liberia. No one wants illegal mining, but all we're asking is fair approach. Do not unleash your cadres in Mufumbwe, Kasempa, and Pika, but stop everyone from mining. No. Don't stop the miner houses from paying fair, just, and equitable taxes. Subject them to the same rules and strictness that you are applying. Then your call to end illegal mining will be respected. Join me in the debate. You will open the phone lines. There are 3 issues we are discussing. The absence of the president in Lusaka. They now say he's on leave. We may respect that. The issues arrest and harassment of opposition leaders. Mal Sampa is at Lusaka Central Police Station where he's detained for a matter and comment he made. Makebi Zulu is being harassed in the Eastern Province, being followed by the police. You can comment on any of the issues. And lastly, the unfortunate and unacceptable remarks by the army commander. Those remarks are unacceptable. You cannot threaten to fumigate. You cannot threaten to threaten your own people with that. You cannot. And the remarks by Lieutenant General Ziele are totally unacceptable. We have our first caller. Thank you, callers. Let's hear from you. Tell me the subject that you wish to comment on. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Ambassador. I hope you're fine.
Very well, thank you, my brother. Tell me who's calling and where you're calling from.
This is Alex calling within the capital of the great nation, Zambia.
Thank you, Alex. Make your contributions.
It's very sad. At the rate the nation we're heading to, I just want to speak to the issues of the army commander. Those utterances, they should be condemned at all cost for one reason. First of all, army commander, at the time that he was appointed, there were too many allegations, too many corruption allegations against him. At the midst of those thousands of dollars going from one account to another, HH appoints him as army commander. Look at how much he demoralizes the men and women in uniform, particularly the army itself. The man is not fit. We know he was appointed to protect him, to protect the HH towards the elections or during the elections. Same as the army commander, the Air Force commander, whose wife is a UPNB cadre. The ZAF commander's wife is a UPNB cadre, and that the commandant at the ZAF was appointed based of the wife being a cadre, so that they can protect it. So, coming to the issue of HH that is not unwell or is on leave, it is it's okay, it's fine for someone to be at leave. It is actually he's enjoying his right. But all what we're asking as citizens, that let him come out and open if these are allegations that he's sick, he's collapsing, tripa, let him come out and tell the people to say, I'm sick. Please, you as my employees, can you pray for me? This is all we're asking for. For him to be running, I don't know when did the Choma became a capital city, and I don't know when the Choma became a hospital. If the man is unhealthy, let him take a side and tell the nation that I'm unwell, then the nation will pray for him, and maybe we have all good doctors around. So his sickness should not be a hidden agenda. I know it's a privacy that we are talking about here, but he's not a president to himself. He's the president of the nation, and such we demand that we should know the whereabouts of him. All what we are seeing is the old pictures. When we cough as a nation, they take the old pictures and put them in public. That's what we are seeing. But he's not speaking to us. So now we know that the First Lady has just been rushed to Choma. What's going on? Let him come out and speak to us. The arresting of Sampa is a well-known thing for opposition. People be arrested, they'll be killed, they'll be harassed. So what we're asking for through this platform, that please, as a people, nation, we should stand and let not what is happening in Uganda to take place in that country. We should fight and fight to the fullest. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, Indira.
Hello.
Hello, Mwamba. Mulishani kana besa.
Iyo bane balishani.
Kana besa katriwo.
Endita, landeni poyama.
Kwena twalanda pali wa mauzi.
Emko.
Ifwe mu politics tatwa kwatama enemies. Wamauzi sampa vena Zambia. Kabiri ba mauzi sampa twabana bo mu kipani kimu kine ichocho twita ati Patriotic Front. Wamauzi sampa tabalufyenyi. Pafyo bachitire okutweba okutira tufire twaba alert. Bantu ilingikana besepo chaba nifi. Nga wamona opo bavotera. Opo balechitira register. Tulechiwa kutira tipali polling station in short, pali polling station kula papo kuchita register ama voters. Nangwa ama voters card. So, nabena ba mausampa nangwa abantu kutubasaka mano kutira ati ngapa nishire chitika apa pantu apata twaishwa kutira tipali pa polling station. So nga balanda filiaba mausampa kuyirisha nyako kutira ati akakantu aka booth tule munapa tatwa munapo abantu balechita register as voters. Nshishi benga kutuwaba mulando. So na pali chimwe bantu bonse na twimini ne chapamo tube kulubalirwa basampa tulande tuchapa mutu tufikane fibale chitefya kwikata basampa pantu na benelingi balela ndano kulanda okuti kino nabanjibira amavoti iyo nabanjibira amavoti bena nga balebe katanga chaba poshani chimone fine fitike kuli basampa baletwe bafyo bale ishibisha fya abantu kutira cha ututuma booth babikapa ushali kwali ukuchita register ama voters card yepo twali in short ever twingalanda ero kwali ukuchita register ama voters card hapa ushe eko twali ututuma booth twafumini na kuisa so bafire basakamana basampa na pomene tufire twasakamana mkwai chimbini pali babosi munjerele kwembira ya mushtaba yasukira mkwai babosi tatuishi boko bali ni babosi nde bamunjereleko so ngachakutira ti babosi barwele bafuire batwe bafyo kutira ti babosi barwele chira shimburo omuntu bati babosi fya nga barwele fye kulanda ti babosi n'abakitashani n'abalwala eva vintu vifuire fyaba mkwai nga n'abalwala nishi n'abalwala omuntu n'omuntu alalwala chimbi kuchitarasi bamakebi zulu kulyani kumushikumwabo bamakebi kana besani kumwabo bali kwatensa mbusha kuyapa mushipami abo kabiri omuntu nga chakutachwalika emyaka eshingi kwa okutandalira kumushikumyobe echinkupiti w'abantu alesa pamushikumyobe tuya mukuposhako muntu nomba kiri ni ba political figure abakutira ati abantu abengi kuti bafuafe nokuya abatandalira panganda pamyabo pa property yabo kuti bayisa chinkupiti kutwaisa tubaposheko fyaba tumfene fya na ku South Africa kuntu bayire bushabulu wesuyu tarishani kuyabe pukisha pantu ni fya family fidya tabali ngokula tuma tukapokola twambo kwa mukula chitarasi abantu muri uli amusanga so kanabesa
Thank you, Wane. Thank you very much. Thank you, Wane. Our dear brother called Dimbila Yamush is a social media activist. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Landishenko wa Munkonge.
Ambassador.
Mkwai.
Cheko bushenshita ili wino banturi mbikina bali na kulia shiri important leo kanshiri important yapo.
London yama. Mulongo vakale bipinga kunuma. Kali ti ni shabantu wale tuma.
Ambassador yefo linga to safi. Number one, I should understand abantu dealing ngana vena. Umuntu uli wansenga wende kwitsuma. Ali lingo kumutata. Nombe cha sabi paku. Number one, wa UPNG bali kano kutasha wa PF. But waralia pia bombere wa PF. Ambassador nga mwaroleka lesa limwara ala randira musaileni. Kamarole shambata kwa pamfura ya chitike MPF bachanda kawe ngamarole to muri mubare bomba iro fya chitike fidya iro kolera ya koni bachiro fya chitaruba fe bare bomba iro na covid ya bako iro ko ali chirara fyonse fya to vere ba PF nomba ngamarole shapali ino ito problem fyo tutu nono mwali umfofyo balira iro tara bataja nomba mbasa dande mirombako ayo insta tuya ko basa ka platform yenu ambeno kusitako mpawe bya umbere ba PF wabengi abantu tabayishi bapantu ba PF bebati bali wantu ababi bakabwalala bale pa abantu sona namwe batenje ya kukorera ko ba PF then naisa pali ba mwasampa kapanje umwandu bapangire na bonse natuishi babushete kitumone fyare kitika Kyale kitika wale kwa wale friends bachiteshana babo mfyenshire iri yonse mumone fe office of yale ikata mu of ya pibiri before tabarapange mingere to ba sampa balingire parapene pameni nani kali para pa extra announce baingira na ba police abasuminishe basampo kuingira mukati mubya pali no ishitama chito yabo na baba start mode because basamporo baingire muri wa mumingarato ulia officer ulia presiding officer na mano ya furunga na piba ababantu baingira cha so basampana parapene basangire hapa ko bati barechita polling station barechita suspicious na bakwatensa mwina zamda ngore tunganya oro batungenye baire ku police kweba chawo ifo ile polling station to amona padia ba sta report ku ba police oro then na pa social media basampa bali chitere explain to achira tunganya ko polling station imwere muneka isha abapo nomba yabapo so na tuyachitana report ku police nomba patwabwera twasanga polling station yo base sharp nomba nga chakwe bati basampa bagira ndire pa social media kwe bati kuli polling station ya bufi ora zeni muna muchawa mwachitika abantu bapanga impasase baumana ngwa ma officers then yolo basa ipsha chishi baumina ma officers basampopo bafure bakwato murandu kwe bati ebachitire create ira problem nomba basampana ngwa batwere kulya ni problem inshwara abapere bachitire create because ngirete tibanje bati nawo chita insight abantu kano baona ora pfmo ora barando kwe bati amashiwara ndire eyarenge nomba basampa pakuchitefi pali bapostire ni side effect nshifkwete problem pangire ni problem nshifkozi ira problem ngali pangwa then yoro bafure bakwerera kuri basampa tewarenga so fyonze filia chikongo chakurusa chine chikuna barona wamakepinde muba chite ku advise bare bateya baruzi ngetempa poko vatu baba perfect kamura ndo to akakaso naba mausampa bare bengishe mpepo mura ndo ko ba ingire campaign kura kucha wama ya pesi iwere ko punch ila fighting spirit bakwete station iwere ko punch ro uyu mura ndo achira tumana uyu imbira ya mushi nabena baba barandi nde bashita kwa advise pano tufikire te pakula nde fumura ndo kwe batyo ifo tuli bakwa makepi o ifo tuli bakwa chitaru chirufia twara moneka shani kubena Zambia ilyo lyashirya mukati mu PF mwe bali mu PF mukati mwira chita promote boss pali candidate mure support because tamwishibe abena Zambia for bare tontonga ilyo lyashirya mukati loro mwaisa kunse kubena Zambia mure randeri yashirya unit mure randeri ya unit then ifefe akuta support candidate wenu feba komu muishimurereka kwa abantu bambya bakwe batava mu mukati kama structure ebaleranda pa makandidates nomba mwe bali mukati umo tamufure muleranda efrafire musangiro kwe bati kukumbi ku return kwambo kumfika cyo apanga ma structure shanta firi bwinu fotfure to apera abantu intungurushi yo to asara nocha abantu bare umfwacho bamunkonge bare rumbanya kampanda bamunkonge bare rumbanya kampanda lero nga banji kusha tushanina ni winga support ya nara asukate mkwai ine nyuyo oninga support chishure musupportera ine nali mwana mwe fine muri yena noti ya campaign kwati mwara kalifya bambi mitima na bara bali kunse bara mbokista chani ukutuseka bamwamba ine kona perera ishara nje fingi fya kuchira kona barandira mubachite chani bapose kona totera pakumpira ishitapani tukutiwacha.
Thank you very much Mwachitabu Yama. Thank you. Yeah, let's pick your cause and let's hear from you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller.
Mr. Mwamba, it's been a while.
Yes, hello, caller, please make your contribution. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yes, Mr. Mwamba, I'm calling you from Kasamba.
Yes, sir. Tell us your name.
I will not tell you my name.
That's okay. Speak through the phone. Speak through the phone. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm happy for you to pick up my call. I've been calling. It's been now like 2 years. But I know you know me personally. You know me personally. You see my number. You have my number.
Okay. No, I don't know. This is just a special number we use. So it has no nothing.
Okay, no problem.
So untumine pa number wa ishwanga uri mwina kasama yo washwa kasama mimi moto wachita untumine pa number yandi.
Na alami tumina muisa kamana kana besa to alami tumina.
Landapo.
I just want to add my voice. So what's happening in our nation is very unfortunate right now. Is that it's one nation, but there's a selective justice system. So what Mao Sampa did for me, I feel like that wasn't even a crime. It's just that you just want to punish someone because you are so ashamed that you failed to win the election. You failed to win so you feel like, why should I give this this gentleman or authorities just to be saying whatever they want to say. I feel like they just want to punish him because they know that they have failed to win the election. And number two is that it's so, it's very bad. Here in Kasama, people are suffering farmers the way they're suffering. People, number one, there's a place called Zambia Building Society there. You can see how people queuing up. Apart from that place, there is also there are two access banks. There's one access bank at the old Shoprite, and the other access bank at opposite Bayport, where there's that is MTN and Airtel in between there, somewhere there. And there's also another bank called Natsef there, and there's another bank at the new Mogasama Mall there called the FNB.
Hello, are you still there? Oh,
When people are suffering, you can cry.
that is the unpaid farmers, isn't it?
As if they are refugees. They have no alternative. They have no solution. They have nowhere to go. They are just refugees. When they are being told, go this side, they go this side. Come this side, they come. You can feel pity and decry. People, they don't even deserve to go inside Sky to pass through all that. I just don't know. I felt so bad. All these days I've been seeing farmers crying, queuing up. I'm really feeling so bad. I can't tell you. It's what is happening. And again, there was someone who told me that the same mayor of by-election, our colleagues, they have gone to location where now just to entice people. I don't know what they are now, whatever they are doing. I don't know if they're trying to blind people. I don't know. They have gone to last week. They're in location market and all the that Kakombo location. They showed what and what.
Yes.
Whatever they are, it's just something which is very uncalled for. And also coming to the issue of the mines. The mines is so bad that I don't know if there's someone who's in charge of our mines. I don't know. I don't know if Zambia has been. Someone has said this is my business. You have full control over it. No one should have any under. I don't know. The mines, we can get so much money from the mines. We can clear so many things. We can pay the farmers. We can provide good health system. But we are not getting any. What we are getting, these are peanuts. Lack of better term. Maybe I can just say, I'm a change. That's what we are getting from the mines. Yet we are being subjected. We are being subjected to all this road shading. I don't know how many years we have stayed in road shading. Road shading now because it's election time. Now they want to come and tell us that it's no longer. We have ended road shading as a result of good leadership. Why that we didn't see the good leadership in the beginning of in the first 4 years, last 4 years of the year, we didn't see that good leadership. Now because the election they're in here, we have got like 6 months to go or 7 months to go to election. Now we want to see good leadership. Now my core, I know you didn't mention about, but my core is about the opposition. I met one farmer who said, "Now I told him like, don't say vote. If you do not vote, this thing will continue happening. Go and vote whoever is going to stand against that particular individual. Whoever is going to stand against Mr. Esteban, go and vote for him. So that you should end your change. You should end these sufferings. People, they are suffering here, I'm telling you. People, they are suffering here in Kasam. If I can send you videos and pictures, you can cry. 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 People, they are coming all the way from far places.
Vanemo muri kukasama.
But we are getting nothing.
Vanemo muri kukasama. Vanemo muri kukasama. Hello, muri kukasama. Vale vati nama farmers na wabadi pila. Ushama farmers na wabadi pila. Uh-oh.
So this is what I had.
Oh, he hasn't heard my question. Doc is explaining that a lot of our farmers have not been paid in Kasama. And he says all the banks, our people are on queues for days since Christmas. That's what he was explaining. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. This is Sinyangwe Dani. There are three things that I'll say. You've talked about the health, about our president, and then you've also talked about Mao Sampa and then the army commander. I'll start with the health of the president. We love our president, and his health is a national matter. We wish him all the best. And if there's anything, all we are asking from the State House official, anyone that is involved. We just want them to be transparent. And as we are asking for transparency, we should also not forget to always continue committing the Lungu family in our prayers, because there's no way we are going to now 8 months. We haven't yet buried our former Republican president. We need to continue putting them in prayers, and we need to pray for them. So like on the health of our president, we are asking for State House. The president is not a private person. He's a public person, and we all Zambians, we love him and we just care for his health. They need to come transparently. With Miles, the thing about it, for me, why I'm upset is like this directive came from the president. Whoever was talking to Diamond TV, he spoke about it, and today we've seen them arresting Miles Sampa. We don't think that's how we should be. We should be in our country. We should not wait for the president. He did the same with JJ Banda, and we saw what happened. So the president should not involve himself in issues that are going to be like he's the one who's going to be telling people who to arrest and not to arrest. I know they are now like they have seen how Mao Sampa was, and then they want to like shut him up. But I think that time is gone. We are, as a country, we as Zambians, we know what is happening. You're not going to lie to Zambians to say we have ended load shedding, or now we are paying farmers. Even if you are paying farmers now, the farming season has already started and the farmers haven't received their money. So what is it going to entail to these farmers that are getting their money now? Because they haven't bought their farm inputs. So for me, you can't even go on and start telling people to say we are paying our farmers. How do you pay farmers in January? That's not right. On the last part, the army commander should know that Zambia is a republic. It's not a dictatorship under the army. When he's talking to Zambians and addressing the Zambian people, we should not instill fear in them. You cannot say we are going to fumigate them. Fumigating is like, who are you saying? Who are you telling that? The tone and the language that you are using to your fellow Zambians, these are the people that pay for your salary, because you get your salary from the taxpayers' money. So can you respect the people that pay for your salary? Thank you, Mwamba. God bless you.
Thank you, our dear brother from Canada. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Don Oscar. I'm calling from Italy. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Thank you.
And thank you for adding me to this platform. I think I've seen some colleagues, some callers. I've already mentioned what I would like to also comment on. But as the Latin language or the Latin tradition would require, they will say repetita juvent, which means to repeat the same thing, it helps very much. Bamwambana msambirishako, repetita juvent.
Mkwai.
So, to repeat the same thing, which is noble, it helps. It helps a lot.
In communication, we say repetition and emphasis, then, delivers a point. So there are many times you might have to repeat yourself and emphasize the same thing, sometimes through many voices, but about the same thing. So just write to me that Latin part so that I can sound more educated, so that I can be like the priest.
Yes. No, it's some in philosophy and thinking in psychology, we use those terms, yes. So repetita juvent. Question about Juventus. You repetita juvent. Okay. Now, my participation. Now, first of all, I would go over Emmanuel Mwamba on the words from the army commander. I think, as you know, and as all the Zambian people, you know me, I don't comment on what the army does. I appreciate all the time in our country, Zambia, the work of the army. The army, Mwamba, since independence, I have learned because being a Chwala boy and ex-Chwala boy secondary boarding school scholar, we were in near Bwana Mkubwa. We had the army there who were protecting us as students. So I have, I don't know whether they can hear me.
Yes, we can. You are on.
I have an experience of the respect that we had with the army. And I don't comment on what the army does, because I'm a civilian, and those people have gone to school, they have gone for training, hard work, hard training, and they know what they are supposed to do. Now, that said, when I heard from the army commander very, very serious words, and I think allow me to just read what I've written here. I have received orders from the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces to exterminate and fumigate illegal miners. End of quote. Now, on this matter, I have to be extremely careful the way I am commenting, but I think it is our obligation to talk about this. Such type of utterances, I think you have also mentioned, in your preamble, Mr. Emmanuel Mwamba, you have mentioned it, how delicate such type of pronouncement can be. And if it was here, I'm telling you, today, as we are talking today, the army commander could have been relegated from his responsibility, because first of all, he has put in question the president himself, because the army commander said, and I repeat, it's the my commander-in-chief who has ordered me to exterminate and fumigate. And the word he has used is really a nasty word. It brings me back, Mwamba, in the 1990s, when we used to watch a film of Schwarzenegger. Ronald Schwarzenegger? Arnold Schwarzenegger, thank you so much. Arnold Schwarzenegger with the title Terminator, exactly. Arnold Schwarzenegger with the title Terminator, and he will use all those sophisticated weapons and the force, and how he could terminate the lives of his enemies. Now, very, very delicate word that was used. I'm fumigating the people. They are talking about, Mwamba, what is so delicate about the issue is the same miners, the commander has called them illegal miners. If I remember very well, in the elections were in 2021, 2022, the president of the Republic of Zambia, Dr. Hakainde Hichilema, corrected his party members and the cabinet ministers to say, do not call these young people illegal miners. Vamwamba, if you remember, there was an incident in Chingola open pit mine where these guys, they were swallowed by the underground land, and I don't know how many people were there, how many people we have retrieved, how many bodies we have retrieved out. But I hope you remember, in Chingola open pit mine, some young boys were swallowed and they died under the open pit Chingola open pit mine. The president went there and he said, don't call them illegal miners. Please, I'm begging to you as journalists and everyone, These are called small-scale miners. So, with that serious incident in Chingola, the president himself corrected his party members and cabinet ministers and ministers and the Copperbelt minister himself, Wamatambo. He said, don't call them illegal miners, call them small-scale miners. And this is one of the 10-plan point which we were given in 2021. 10-plan point was, we are not going to call them illegal miners, but we will call them small-scale miners, and we will give them the certificates so that the money or the authority or the business can go first of all to the Zambians before it can go to the foreigners. Now, so I hope you see, when we say something is wrong, we don't hate, but it's wrong to call these young people and say, there will be casualties, there will be deaths. These are Zambian people. These are not criminals. These are unemployed, hard-working Zambian people. I repeat, the so-called Jerabos, the so-called illegal miners are unemployed, hard-working Zambian people. If there are foreigners in that area, that is the responsibility of the Minister of Foreign Affairs or the Minister of Internal Affairs to call the responsibility of our army who safeguards the security of our country to make sure no illegal immigrant can enter the country without the knowledge of our beloved armed forces. That's the point. So now, on that one, I personally, I condemn the way they use this very rough, harsh, and cruel. It's cruel. How I can hope, I'm making an appeal here. I will hope that I don't know where you can appeal to in the commanding service in the army or in the army.
The president.
I think to the president himself.
That's his that's the appointing authority.
Yes, because this thing, or he can relinquish the authority of the commander, or the president could say, well, that was wrong.
And like you said, the trouble is the army commander is saying, I've been ordered to exterminate, to fumigate. And he says there will be casualties. Oh my God. So now it puts the president complicit to the crimes we are talking about.
Exactly. That's why it's not, I'm telling you, such type of a video, we cannot make it to be listened to the journalists here in Europe. If I can share such type of a video and audio to my colleagues here, even the people who work with us here in the parish, I will be embarrassed. I can't talk. Because the only question they would ask me is this: do you have the rule of law? Does the law exist in your country? But such type of utterances is so serious. That's why I repeat, I respect the army. They have safeguarded our country from temptation, terror, attacks from Congo, attacks from Angola, attacks from some other places, and Zambia today we are still in peace. But such type of utterances, I think, needs to be condemned. And so I go to the farmers, please. The farmers, and remember, not only the farmers, we have even the truck drivers in Congo. There is an issue of truck drivers who are going through hardships in Congo. Some of them maybe also abuse. Then we have the farmers. The question there is, Mr. Mwamba, you said that probably they have paid the farmers now, or yesterday maybe they paid the farmers. That's not the question, Mwamba. The question is this. Honorable Cornelius Mwetwa and other honorable ministers, they confirmed that the government, a serious working government, was going to pay all the farmers, underline this word, all the farmers on the 10th of, am I correct? 10th, am I correct? 10th of January. So yes. Now, if that was the promise, you see, I know that this government also, any government, when it makes a serious pronouncement, they're supposed to be taken for their responsibility. We are supposed to ask them to explain why they cannot fulfill what they promised the Zambian people. Now, if we were given 10th of January, and Cornelius Mwetwa was there, he made a press conference, a press statement. Wait and see how this government is strategic. We are going to pay all the farmers on the 10th of January. Today is, let me see the date. Today is 20th of January. If it was here in Europe, the minister Cornelius Mwetwa was going to be fired. But of course, we accept. We are talking about our beloved country, Zambia. I am not a politician that I can give the rules, the laws. But if it was here, you make such type of a promise, you don't fulfill it, Mwamba, you are fired on the 11th of January. The Honorable Cornelius Mwetwa was supposed to be fired because they did not fulfill what was the promise to all the Zambian people. Question, is it the banks that are being a stumbling block to the government, or is it the government which is not giving the correct information? If it is the banks, the government has authority even to close those banks as a consequence of embarrassing the government itself. But if it is not the banks, then indeed we are seeing and experiencing all these things that has happened. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Father. I'm grateful. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so much, and thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. My name is Uncle Jeff.
Uncle Jeff, make your contribution.
Thank you so much. We've reached a tipping point as a country. I was so saddened at some point when I watched a video of a farmer, a woman, that was actually lamenting, and she was actually praying to God, saying, the people that have made it so difficult for them to receive money, let it not be well for them. Their children's children, let them struggle. Even if they happen to make it outside Zambia and make their investments anywhere, may those investments never work. That was a prayer. I was so touched. Now, those that are claiming that all the farmers have been paid, not all the farmers have been paid. There's just so much around, people queuing, and they're in these FRI places in huge numbers. For me, this is failure of the government system to have organized a proper way, in which these people can actually be paid their money. Let's not forget, even if they are being paid now, what do they do? We know that most of our farmers are subsistence farmers who depend on the sale of their produce to continue the cycle of farming. Now, the fact that they are being paid late in itself is a huge problem that will impact their agriculture. And trust me, this year's yield will be terrible, will be very bad, because they will have not bought their inputs, fertilizers, and the seeding and everything. So already this is shown the failure on the government itself in doing the right thing. So we have a government that is good at speaking, but they are very bad when it comes to implementation. The danger of running a propaganda government is these are the results that come in. To conclude, I just want to speak, and echo what the previous speaker just spoke about. I felt that the words that the army commander used were very, very strong. To start with, we shouldn't even be using the army. The army are trained to kill. These fight wars. So when you bring them to deal with these, domestic matters, you are bringing chaos. You will know for sure that there will be casualties, because that is what they are trained to do. If they claim that indeed there are those foreigners that have invaded our mining space, where is the immigration? The Home Affairs should play their role. Immigration, together with the police, they can resolve this issue. For me, this is a lie. I think there is more to it than what meets the eye. It's not an issue of, this and that. For me, it is more that probably they are trying to secure these places and sell them to the highest bidder. We saw what happened in these where small-scale miners were chased. The next thing we hear, no, this mine belongs to this one. It was sold to this Chinese. It was sold to this investor. And, the list goes on. This is what I feel is likely to happen. This is why we keep calling on Zambians. Let us wake up. This is year 2026. We are deciding our fate. Where will we be in the next 5 years? It is now. It is now. Are we going to continue to allow our farmers queue to receive their hard-earned, money that they sold? And, they have to suffer like this, receive it late. Others give up, others even die, others being beaten for their money. If the destiny is in our hands, your vote is the power. If we want to end this, it falls squarely on us Zambians. If we decide to say, we can't continue with this nonsense, enough is enough, the decision is yours. God has given you an opportunity to decide the future for Zambia. Avena Kasama, I also appeal to you. Nobody has to come to tell you. It's different when someone a regular fire. For the first time you've never met them, you pay attention to their words. But when you've lived with someone before, you don't have to listen to their words. You look back at how you've lived. Let that be a determining factor whether you want to continue in that marriage or not. And this is what this should be. It should be, are we going to continue living in darkness and only see power when it is time for us to, to give them, to allow them in? All this time we've been, troubled, we've been abused. I feel bad that even now, Zambia, please, as I conclude, we have not buried the 6th president. All this is dependent on you. Let us decide. Let us make a decision. Let us think about this family and bury this family by deciding to vote right. Let us vote right so that we can give a dignified burial to the former president. I thank you, Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
The last question. Former. State House is not telling us the truth. They must come clean on Mr. Sata's illness. I think something like that. That's what you say. Foreman, I don't want to say much on this. All I want to advise those who advise Mr. Sata is that if the president is not well, please tell the nation so that the nation can pray for him. Yes. Don't hide. If Yakainde is unwell, please, my friends here, tell the nation that Hakainde is not well. The nation will pray for us. I don't know why there's a thick cloud around this issue. To be sick is normal. It is God's way. So that's all I can advise the people that handle Mr. Sat. There's so much speculation that from London is just to hide. He's actually going to India. That's the speculation, that he's going to India for medical treatment. If that's the case, tell all of us, and we wish him a quick recovery. Last time I said in a press briefing.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, let me remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Just a quick one. Is it not important that the Republican president, who is actually our president, are we not supposed to know if our president is gone out on leave and how long and for what purpose as a nation? Doesn't this government owe us an explanation so that we get to understand? You know, if they say our president is in Choma, could they give us the details as a country? We want to know, because the president is actually our president and he's actually our servant. We employed him. So we have the right to understand his schedule. What is it that he's doing? To what benefit is he with, is he in Choma? And, we get to know the purpose. Then finally, I'm still crying out for our farmers. I'm crying out for our farmers. Most of our farmers have not been paid and are still struggling. So that is the appeal that I'm making to the government, and I'm still appealing also to the Zambian people to vote wisely this time. Enough is enough. We are tired of what is happening in our country. Our country has been turned into an animal farm where justice is selective. You know, certain individuals are more equal than others. Our country has been turned into a place where we've literally become scavengers. You know, we scavenge for things, even things that we used to have easily. You know, people get to struggle to have those. I think we have a right in 2026. Time has come, the power has come, we've struggled, we've endured. Indeed, we deserve a certificate of survival this year. So August, let us make a decision. Let us do what is right for the betterment of our country going forward. We will have nobody to blame after this. But everything is in our power. Our opportunity to be called bosses has come. As they kneel down to us, we know exactly what should happen. The 4 years I've suffered are enough. I don't want to suffer again in the same way. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yes. And some quite more bombeni. Hello. Mwachiputuka London tumfwe. Oh, we lost him. I hope he will call back.
Inside here, that's it. I pray to God over. The last question. Fuma, State House is not telling us the truth. They must come clean on Mr. Sata's illness. I think something like that. That's what you say. You know, Fuma, I don't want to say much on this. All I want to advise those who advise Mr. Sata is that if the president is not well, please tell the nation, so that the nation can pray for him. Yes. Don't hide. If Hakainde is unwell, Please, my friends here, tell the nation that Uganda is not well. The nation will pray for us. I don't know what.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, Ambassador Nawera Pamula Ndwaba Farmer. Because I've been getting a farmer which we should have been. Farmer, Kono kama kate abuyonse naye ngira. Katwishire ngira bakakolera mu amakati. Chaba so, the government umufundo bapera ba farmer. Farmer akira tumbula byokuchika pama bags at 20. Bambiri mbite chakwanti rufuna mwali 20 pali ya 1 bag. Lero ba farmer bali kwata capital yabo yo baito umufundo. Noturuwa ba government. So ba farmer ba mubarali mafia kwebati 3 hectares ya tombora nangwa 250 bags nempie shako. Bambimbara sombora 300 bags nempie shako ila 300 bags twarafunya pofe 20 bags mufundo bapokere kuri ba government. Turoti mufundo bapoka kuri ba government yababe kwatiri supplementary kusankirisha kupa obulimi bubi. Tabashita depend muri ba government. Bajirane ba government bara ba farmer kwebati mushitishe kuri ifwe. Nona ba farmer nabera baratuntunga kanyacha. Katushtishe efe tukapokere mpia pamo. Nomba ba government bawura capital yaba farmer mpia shawo. So bareshito mufundo kwa 1000. Basombora mufundo. Pro bashita kuri bene. Mpia shawo farmer tuna yiki. So which means ba farmer bali mu bwafya. Bali mu bwafya obukutana. Because ishimpia wale bapera. Already amatabaya kwa tafe ni 28 days. Mwalima mwabiko mfundo wapa yafuma 2 weeks mwabika mfundo wapa panshi numbu mfundo wapa inshi ishtayari pita ubetala istashani yakashika so abengi ama farmers na operation pia ama capital yabo nayo unaita bali mura ndo sana kwa kwa government bali kabasha kumbya mataba lero bali bapero muchinji elio ambassador komura ndo wakurwala Ambassador wipushe jani date bamyebe example ningampera ushemo ba ambassador bali nyeba efyo bayikete ndoshi shirawakaka bali miro ndoro erofo sharefo ayo kurowa nanguni banani bayikete shire ndoshi aba ni system ishwa bompeshe bakwikata shire ndoshi mwasangira byati ndoshi shiri mukoti o indoshi shakakwa nomba wati mu burwere date bamyebe ambassador nangumurangesha eti bamyebe epo fe bali firo kurondorora bushendoshi chali chani bali firo kurondorora echaro because ni ba president beso bonse twamfa ko fya to eshindoshi chale fo kutroera president ninshira nshare fo kutroera bashikete shani tapabo waishi baba chiri mu kifungo nomba wati mo ukurwala ageni bamwito anga twabe pusha bali randiro ko ebati na tubeshi babo babare kitarani kare kuri ba president no bamwito bayishi bashani bari turondorera fwebene bateka so na ngunya papene ambassador ngo turande shani bari kwata ama secrets uko bari tuteka ama secrets yao tete batwebe ambassador chisuma mukwaye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's why we must pray to God to keep HH alive for country. And that all those who are planning evil against him will not succeed. And as government, we are watching them every single day, their maneuvers. That's why we must pray to God to keep HH alive for country. And that all those who are planning evil against him will not succeed. And as government, we are watching them every single day, their maneuvers.
The directives from the Commander-in-Chief are very straightforward: to exterminate illegal miners. And we shall do that step by step. We don't intend to use force, but obviously when necessary, that is our business, to use force. And I do know there will be consequences in that direction, such as injuries, loss of life, but there's no option available. We're also reminded with the impunity to disobedience of law and order by the illegal miners themselves. We will not allow that impunity to continue, and it can never continue. The underlying assumptions with illegal mining is that it attracts illegal immigrants, and we're also interested in illegal immigrants. Of course, there's fog and friction in Mufumbe, where we have been for a while, and starting this week, probably shall be using force to exterminate, fumigate all illegal miners. Of course, there's a lot of coordination and interacting between ourselves and the Ministry of Mines. Today I'm expecting a call from the Minister of Mines, or I will call him, in order for us to coordinate. I seem to be preempting this because our next destination is bigger, and I'll be on the peers for us to coordinate on what we do with the picker. Obviously, the template of Mufumbe may be different from Pika, but there will be similarities in the lines of operations, or indeed concept of operations. I know that this nuisance has been with Central Province for a long time, but I'm sure it is time for us. We brought it to a dead end because all of us are like the fact of the consequences of.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. London Kwai.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. I'm concerns, yes, Pachalo Chess, which I done. In a Quenan, the first comments by the Yonse at the points which they raise. Fiona Vagirapo, Yakovaki, Yapagmango Bakateka. Bakateka, the Chakwatna, Valuala, and reflects Capulivena, when I touch away me for Flapatera for Kuvatinga, we know the Chakwatna Valuala. But it's important for us who wish Shiva, the Chakwatna Valuala and Tavalo in Panto, Nivakateka. The blessing a child, Badung, West, Valley, Baka, take a chalo, therefore, push refugee sticker, Navena, therefore, push refugee sticker. But we know there's something that has happened to him. Put Chawama, twice Shiva. Then, secondly, the Falkland, the Sana Sanapa, Mulando Amasamas, Mulando Patna, in Queen and Madame Mwamba. Abantu, yes, I'm bound, that's the follow sign. Abarechulo kubati bapoke impia shabo mukulima bamwamba mwali befingi sana bakwata abantu balime kulipira bakwata babyale inyoshite mbuto shala ko teshite mbuto shala ko shaka kapati mwali ala without fertilizer bakubyala kulikira cyali mu nfundo so nomba abashisha amataba last year okay bachitekelo bino ba president bachita offer although bachitekelo underestimate according to him he was saying ko basale mona kwati kuti bachita 500 tons. But with him, I don't know if in the Valley Pokchita please Avantu, he got more than he was supposed to have taken from people. And therefore, Avantu Nombarambo Kuchurambo Kudabutauka. You know, Statu Stepo, Mujista Kubika, Ababianakali, Kuli Confundo Afamu. Abashakolentia, that means Amatana Tampoko, Nakanam Kabungo Kamakamad. Amatabana Tampoko, Nakomanda Katumufundo, Talatera Muliva. Lungu kwale bokupera omufundo wakwati mwapa muluna kanshi nomba ino abantu they are working hard despite ukubomba bwino but still more tabali batela accordingly therefore ngabashikisha ba government ukupembera kwabo kwala kitatire ifintu so bali chimwandi nangubaliraire at least bashiko consider abantu abatex bashike manage ukushita omufundo babakolesha impia shabo so that bashite omufundo okushira tamatabayo bali ni futi nayo naika infula umomwaka lesa natupala sana bamwamba natupala nayi lokasana so amataba nakula buno but kuti bali kashana omufundo ukushiri akutwa kashana omufundo ngachapata bapele ndalama shabo and thirdly ababa komanda bashara ndokushafimigeta ama miners bamwamba wetu abantu ama miners abamzambia na inokuti mwasho baba ambassador wesu currency yesu ija kuzambia yali bawino era na rare earth wakwata mu Zambia biisuma kuti twabomba bwino nga kuba kolonga nga bino nga sasine bayirelaalira bayire atamwe baminers twala mu kitesinesi nomba kwisafiri ukabasamba okulanda tibalakamba okubakitafinikate. Where is his words? Where are the words that he promised? Kuba twalanipanga importe esintu mukatampoku kula imba bwino kopa nangu mwambi okulimba bwino rare earth. So in my really kuli bakomanda balakana tibakakitafinikate abantu bakiterivesiga nanikani such a confession isuma abantu abene ba rare earth. Then actually I watched him. Campaign. Obviously, organized. These people are organized. Now they show more in his own residence. How can I say that? Imibombera ya msango ifitaire moneka wino kwena ine ifuna chafo kulanda kona totera sana bamwamba again for giving me an opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello caller, we have another caller waiting. Hello caller, thank you for waiting. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba. This is Sensho Banda.
Thank you, Sensho. Thank you, Honorable. Make your contributions on any of the three subjects.
Yeah, for me, I want just to zero in on the issue of illegal mining.
Yeah.
Mwamba, you know that this matter has been a perennial issue. Successive governments have grappled with this issue. In fact, the UPND government, it was one of their campaigns that when they come into government, they will ensure that the transition of illegal artisanal miners into the legal economy. So for me, if you look at the UPND's 8th National Development Plan, as regards to the first pillar, which talks about economic transformation and job creation, there are specific interventions which they said they will put in place to ensure that Zambia benefits. For example, you talk about formalization through cooperatives and to ensure that cooperatives are able to apply for mining licenses under the Zambian law and legitimizing their operations. And there are also talks to ensure that, because mining is quite expensive, but for artisanal miners, there was proposing actually that they'll be empowered economically. So for me, when you hear what was said today, yes, I understand that when legal miners is infiltrated with foreign elements, it borders of insecurity. But for me, the bigger picture is that right now we are grappling with the financial, the FIC report indicated to the fact that we lost about $3.5 billion in financial illicit flows, and this borders on smuggling of high-value metals, which is gold, meaning that these illegal mining are being facilitated by those in government. For me, today's announcements by the army commander who could have made sense if the government says, yes, we have empowered so many cooperatives, they have gotten their licenses. Furthermore, we have empowered them. We have ensured that we've provided the technical support and market access through Zambia Gold Mining Limited, and also we have provided technical support, training, and also guaranteeing buyers, reducing dependence on the informal market. And not only that, government should have said we are mopping up the gold through the gold mop-up strategy to ensure that to address this illegal gold trade which is thriving through the black market, and the foreign syndicates. So for me, for example, they said the Bank of Zambia and the Zambia Mining Company are active in terms of offshore buying of this gold. In view of this intervention, we've realized that actually this stage has continued, and then we can intervene as they are proposed. But Mwamba, we have a country which is stressed. We have high poverty levels. We have high unemployment levels. We have high dependency ratios in the country. Our household are stressed. So for me, what I anticipated is that they should have provided an economical viable relief, to ensure that Zambians, because people who are there are Zambians, because when the army goes there, the army has not been trained not to deal with civilians. They will not know whether this is the foreigner or otherwise. Tomorrow, it will be the Zambians who will be weeping, because, mind you, the army commander was very explicit that this command was from the commander of armies, of chief, the president himself. So my appeal is that the president, the people who will be exterminated or fumigated are Zambians, and these are Zambians who voted for you. By no means am I proposing that illegal mining should continue, but consideration should be made, because these are Zambians who are stressed. Have you provided this intervention? These are the cooperatives, access to finance, access to the market, being able also to ensure that there is enhanced sustainable mining practices and environmental compliance. So all these issues, when they are in place and the government says we are moving in, we cannot blame them. But my big brother, President Hakainde Hichilema, you gave instructions to the army commander. My appeal is that I think even as they go there, they must reduce collateral damage, in the sense that it's not worth it that the Zambian should die because of illegal mining. So for me, I think government should prioritize relief valves to deal with the illegal minings in the through economical intervention. Yet they may come in when they are element of insecurity. So for me, I think the priority is the Zambians who are there, the youths who are there. They come from a household where there's high poverty levels. They have lost their jobs. They've lost their small businesses. They are trying to survive. They are coming to places where there's a high dependence ratio. So for me, Mr. President, Zambians did not vote for any commander, they voted for the president. That is why my appeal is to you, to ensure that even as you try to quell, to deal with this cage, ensure that the lives of people are not lost, are protected. So my appeal is to the president, to ensure that even the army saying that when they're moving in, that lives are preserved, and that this government of the UPN must prioritize economic relief valve to ensure that this case is dealt with in a more holistic manner. I thought I should say that, my brother Mwamba.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sensio Banda. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling, and thank you for waiting.
Calling from here in the US. Mwamba, this time I don't want to review my name. I'm going to talk about some things that are very, very, very sensitive. The army commander mentioned two words that were cardinal in that statement: extermination and fumigation. Fumigation means gassing. We've experienced gassing in Zambia, and up to now we don't know who was doing that gassing. And UPND as a party and government, they've never even thought about looking for people who are doing that. And if you look at the way it was done during the PF government, there was a bit of professionalism in the gassing. And essentially, this goes way far than just the word fumigation. Is the Zambian government going to use chemical weapons on Zambians? Gassing or fumigation, you use chemicals. Is Zambia using chemical weapons on Zambians? What type of death does people experience in chemical weapons? We saw that when Saddam Hussein did it with the Kurdish. Is this going? Oh, somebody, he mentioned that it's going to be different from Mfumbwe and Impika. So the chemical weapons are going to be used where? In Mfumbwe or Impika? Who is in Impika? What type of people are in Impika? This is dangerous, really dangerous. These are issues that go to the international court.
These are not issues that we can play with as a people. I feel hurt that a government that we voted for, that we campaigned for, that we thought would change the country, has gone rogue. And it's ready to damage its own people. With extermination, what in sure? Eh? How does a government treat its people like that? Tumwe fenti fama Zambians na mfuto trato aikala kutwa tontonkanya. Pamo tualianga fiat kwena panach tukalipa. I've seen one of our colleagues, Kasonso, getting angry. Some people laugh at that. It is important sometimes that we put our emotions on these issues. Where is Zambia headed today? Where is Zambia headed today? If we don't come together and fight back and change course, there will be no Zambia tomorrow to talk about. I assure you, there will be no Zambia tomorrow to talk about. You know, this guy is talking there with some nice accent. People, please, it's not the accent, it's the words. It's not what he says that matters, it's the way he says it. I'm telling you, we are in trouble, Mwamba. And I'm hurt as a Zambian that this is where our government is headed, to fumigate its people who it has failed to provide for. Providing for foreigners to go and extract all minerals from our ground and then be stored in other countries, like they've done in Ghana with the gold. The gold that was in the ground in Ghana is now in the ground in England. Same thing in the votes or natural ground. Same thing. They are doing that now to our minerals. 20 years from now, there will be no Zambia. There will be no copper. And what are we going to do? Kaunda was not stupid. Kaunda was not stupid to have those copper reserves, mineral reserves. Us, me, dig everything out. Don't worry about the people tomorrow. What country is that? I'm sorry, I'm hurt, but solutions gonna come from Zambians. And the first day of your solutions is in August. And if you don't do anything, then blame yourselves for the following year. Thank you, Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me take the last caller. That was Dr. Kalonde. Thank you very much for your thoughts, Dr. Kalonde. Let me take the last caller. Hello, caller. You're our last caller.
Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on one worrying matter, I think from the Army commander.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm getting it very right, I think the words that he has used, I think they're more scary to the Zambians. Because when you're defining the illegal miners, I don't know in their definition what they mean by illegal miners. And if he has been given the orders to exterminate, meaning to destroy or to kill, I think that's not the right way to go. You know, I think the government or the president himself, he shouldn't have actually ordered such an assassination way of doing things. If the matter is about the illegal miners, there's a way that you can able to handle them. Remember that when Nokopa built, he did actually indicate that there are some miners who are being trained on how they can be able to do business in terms of how they can be able to mine. Where has that training gone to? and you choose to start exterminate citizens, I think the way to go is group out these people that are willing to mine. Find ways and means to help them, either training and whatever. Then, because everybody is looking for something that they're able to use in terms of the resources to feed their families. And doing what they are doing is what that is by their choice. Maybe the availability of just government being available and help them. It has to be also be the route that can able to be used. And I think it's very scary. And if that's the way going forward, this is how the army will be used. I think citizens will be more scary, will be more agitated in terms of carrying out their businesses. I think my advice to the president, I know he's not around. My advice to the president is that, Your Excellency, sir, please reconsider those orders that you have issued to the army commander, because they're not in the best interest of the country. If it's about fighting illegal miners, find ways, proper ways of trying to help those people who are looking for ends meet. Things are tough, Mwamba. Things are tough. And when I say things are tough on the ground, anyway, things are really tough. And I'm short of words actually even to use. But please, through your platform, if the president is listening to this audio, please reconsider that order that he has given the army commander. And even the way the army commander was coming out was really trying to, if like, scare people that they are coming for you. They will be able to kill you, because that is the order that is carrying. It's not right. We're a Christian nation, and I think we should be able to carry out those Christian values with us in the way we handle issues. And the direction that the president has taken through the army commander is not a very good direction. I think those are my concerns, and I'm quite disappointed as a Zambian. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Excellency.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, good evening. Am I welcome on the program?
Mkwai, issue in Adibuela.
Napola kukwene natetera sana okunzita kusumisha kulanda kwefya msango yo.
Mkwai.
Kuti nalanda amashibindelo mbokuti ndande kupamula lwasa. Bonse nachitusakamika ekikiteeke mu kyalo mweso. Omushirika halipo mboloka okutira hayande kisungu ekyo kikabire. Ati bakayamu kukita exterminate and spray.
And fumigate.
Fumigate.
And there'll be casualties.
Abantu bakwalesa mwebe na Zambia. Na ino bonse ba PF bachi. Inandi fati bonse ba opposition. Bamwamba ule nishu ili upere ba opposition bonse. Uyo ni green light to decampaign this government there. Abashirika emyaka n'emyaka putwayikalira mu Zambia kufuma kuli ba kaunda days. You remember Zambia they in frontline state by independence ya Zimbabwe, Angola, Mozambique, South Africa, Namibia. Ndifebe na Zambia tuwafirire pokali ififyalo fibili abashirika besu bale ya mkulu wa facing abasungu abachitire abariski colonizing those countries. Ifo tuwaishibi abasoja tubakutulonda. Eno remember mwebe na Zambia mwebale mfakulichi. Zambia yalisongere sana ababene bonse ama refugees from these countries. Bale ya pa University of Zambia Apa University of Zambia kutimwayusha pokali ama refugee students. Bale ya pa NIPA. Bale ya pa Evelyn Horn. Bale isa mkuchita English as a foreign language pa Evelyn Horn na Nkumbi International College. Nkumbi International College was under UN backing Zambia as a frontline state. Nomba palata bale kile chama refugee students ekayeka. Ama Zambian students fye aba mumushi fye mulyamu ine mumushi. Apo bali and Pankumbi Junction ukuya ku institution kuya bali abashirika ba Zambia. Bali abashirika ba Zambia ama students bonse nga mulepita bale imishiba ukuya nokubwera takwali kutina bala abashirika muli ila forest ya Nkumbi na Mukushi River down there kwale babashirika bufimuti as students nga mwamu kwangala kulya foreign students ama refugees na imwe na Zambians kwale bokuipenda nga mwamu n'abashirika n'otusoke twabo mwisamba lya miti we felt very safer than the safest mwamfa nomba lelo umushirika tere bukuruisha abale chusha ama borders yesu ama boundaries yesu ala ikako kweba ati n'abatutuma n'abatukita command or assign okutira tuye tufumisha ba illegal miners nokubapasa okubona olaffe destroying you're exterminating nishikyapa tabakabali bamuneka besongi abo bantu but ife balafuirapo omusango oli efyuma fyesu fyamubushiri wesu including nuyo omushirika batumire kyamusango oyo imulaba opposition ukomulea kuma campaign sende nyimbila kala ndenyu kutira abo mulefayo okula miteko okutwalirirapo tabaka miteke mukabya bamwewe imwe they are coming for you nabalanda ati bakamishira ero nababene abakumba bayamba bene abantu besama illegal miners abengi nekyo pimpire ekito kankala tete bashimone tashiriko mukyalo tabasambire kufika pale mubambi mwafika wekala kyalo filafine nomba leero bali abekala kyalo takulina loya bakayafwaya wakuya balandira ku koti ikoti bali bika mukwapa kwa buteko bwakishi bwa European government fyose filife fyakanda bani fya muselu imwe ba opposition imwe nikabize nimbira kuma constituencies mule iminina uko mwayimika abantu uko mule twala ababonse batose kalandeni kuti muyipuna mino buteko kash twakolkanya kuchimbe ulo amataba bashimafamu abantu bakwalesa namayo aline mfumo ili yangu 3-4 months marapale ba supply inoshtakanya kalifyali kwa bali nyine nchimbuto batubepete akanyana akafyali kwa nomba n'abapindi k'omwana baramukupoka impia ku food reserve agency nango kuuza nako 5-4 days balala bali pitana fina akanya kaikata numonya ya monfula akanya kalwalo tubali mwana halafua banye balifwa ilo pira wa mataba uteko nabutira aho twaliri pira balabe nino tukamipira pa 10 January ya isa tabali pira bali balelo kwa pamfula ewe buteko mwalaikalia imeni mwa opposition kabire nimbira ti buteko mwene ndwatire bukala nipera 10 bags of fertilizer ule fina no kumipere yo mpendo ya fertilizer ndira mwebe ni mwa ipampanta mwalima kabiri babwera baisafire kushita mataba yenu umushika yakubiko umufundo naipita hamataba yala akashika wapa mulo nomba nabalabandi abene abakweteko umufundo no babiko wapa mulo tatushire chikesa chitikane August ilesa pakusombola bantu wachishinga patu nono na pafingi fine abana abafiro ko bechishinga patu nono pafingi imyaka 2-3 akamilipira umwaka wantanshi bayisala abantu batwebira ati limbendi soya beans tukashitisha soya beans umutengo ufuna kuri 15 pounds kwacha bali nike mucyalo muramwini bawubekisha panje pali $15 so 15 kwacha ama dollars na pounds ayene wa foreign exchange baletina economy na inina dollar na inina against the pound na kwacha against pound na dollar ngomano nshi bantu ifintu fichiri fyako so mutengo bala abantu abashitire umutengo ama stocks yawo kamutengo ukuru bushibala bwesha bakabwesha nikwesa bachitire export finshi ifipere Zambian kwacha that strength against the pound and the kwacha bale mibe pafye ubushikumuka basala bakesa bweshe fintu fyonse mukamene fe nomba na kwa dollar na pound ero fikana pali 40 na 50 kwacha mukale pakati ababantu nakabiri ufibwa kilamu ababantu uwa mutende wabakateka ba president akainde awe uwo mukyalo twalifuiro bakateka 5 bakateka 5-6 tekyamwana oseka ababa afiirire tabali mu state house tatwala ndepo ababa abandi babiri bafiira mu state house tatwala ndepo inkamba yakushuza kulwala kwabo ba president akainde abene bali against it okutela bonga balwala mukalande so nga nabalwala ba president akainde wonse wa information minister bamwetwa nga mule mufako ekirango mwaka mishini shako fumye ni chumi mulande ukufuma ichumi mulande ati awu bakateketa bali bwino ndebe yabe ekishinka abantu tebose bapate omuntu wonse there are people who love president akainde to the core of their hearts bashi amitima yabo bayitema president akainde okulwala kwako nokufyanya kwako kira bakumya bala mupepela ukupepa kwafumaluka so ifo mwalika kenkama mwalenga bakapepa tabeshibe mwileka ekiriba kikafyutuke notukese bukutira mwamonene ifyo hawe ifo nalanda kufine kino chungulo mukwaye nateta sana pansambo ishima mwamba yona pafe mule teka ichichi bwanze mwateka mwandi ni mwali pusushe chalo pantu kabeli mweneni muno mchalo zande bali landati saibalo so nomboko kunenga tuwatuma twakwata kwensambo pantu muno batwishime na mashinane namba na fiance chakosa nokukosa lelo kushukuru kwena ufuteko ufile kuchinja in Jesus name amen.
Thank you. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, Ambassador Mwamba.
Anonymous.
Yes.
Yes. Hope you're well. Ever so enjoying your program. Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
Yes. So this extermination and fumigation, quite an interesting story to hear from the general.
Yes,
About
indeed.
exterminating
Yes.
and fumigating people. Honestly, an army that's supposed to protect the borders of Zambia has now been assigned to go in and exterminate, fumigate its citizens. Coming off from the main man. You know, at times one wonders whether the man is actually in control or is he fit to really run the country. But then, anyway, here's the situation. So we are now so fatigued that we have resigned to just analyzing, refocusing, and commenting with the hope that we can add to the discourse and the sense of the entire nation so that we can move together with all this information coming through and use that information to think through and see how we'll be able to get rid of these people. So what they will do, as they did in Bill 10, tomorrow, all sorts of people will be defending, exterminating, and fumigating from the UPND. And I can predict what they're going to do. They're going to withdraw, and then what we'll be seeing will be bodies dropping because they'll be fumigating. In the same way they brought in the cyber, same way they did Bill 7, they'll withdraw this statement. The next people will be dropping down. I submit.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, Mwantu Akwalesa. Tusha. Thank you very much for all your contributions today. We'll see you tomorrow.
The directives from the Commander-in-Chief are very straightforward. To exterminate illegal miners. And we shall do that step by step. We don't intend to use force, but obviously when necessary, that is our business, to use force. And I do know there will be consequences in that direction, such as injuries, loss of life, but there's no option available. We are also reminded with the impunity to disobedience of law and order by the illegal miners themselves. We will not allow that impunity to continue, and it can never continue. The underlying assumptions with illegal mining is that it attracts illegal immigrants, and we're also interested in illegal immigrants. Of course, there is fog and friction in Mufumbe, where we have been for a while, and starting this week, probably shall be using force to exterminate, fumigate all illegal miners. Of course, there's a lot of coordination and interacting between ourselves and the Ministry of Mines. Today I'm expecting a call from the Minister of Mines, or I will call him, in order for us to coordinate. I seem to be preempting this because our next destination is a bigger, and I'll be on the peers for us to connect on what we do with the picker. Obviously, the template of Mufumbe may be different from picker, but there will be similarities in the lines of operations, or indeed concept of operations. I know that this nuisance has been with Central Province for a long time, but I'm sure it is time for us. We brought it to a dead end because all of us are like the fact of consequences of illegal mining, and that is to say illegal extraction of natural resources, which all of us are entitled to, protection of the environment, returning the strata of the soil community.
The last question. Former State House is not telling us the truth. They must come clean on Mr. Sata's illness. I think something like that. That's what you say. You know, Foreman, I don't want to say much on this. All I want to advise those who advise Mr. Sata is that if the president is not well, please tell the nation so that the nation can pray for him. Yes. Don't hide. If Hakainde is unwell, please, my friends here, tell the nation that Hakainde is not well. The nation will pray for us. I don't know why there's a thick cloud around this issue. To be sick is normal. It is God's way. So that's all I can advise the people that handle Mr. Sat. There's so much speculation that from London is just to hide. He's actually going to India. That's the speculation, that he's going to India for medical treatment. If that's the case, tell all of us and we wish him a quick recovery. Last time I said in a press briefing inside here that I pray to God of Abraham, God of Jacob.
Tikufuna chilengede chatopano Osati mapocket anu opindika ndalama. Listen to the cries, they're louder than your lies. You can't silence the truth. It's time for the youth. Time is up, time is up. When you're going is not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff. Time is up, time is up. When you're going is not enough. Time is up for your lies and bluff. We rise, we stand, we fight together for the children, for a better forever.